Hello, welcome to my Bajerski YouTube channel. It's a beautiful day to do a little mini workshop. And I just sat down and looked out of the window and thought, it's a beautiful day today. Let's talk about children. Where did that come from? No idea. But I'll follow that. I'll follow that feeling. I'll follow the guidance of the universal flow. So this may help a few of you today. Okay, so most of you already know who I am, but I practice the art of healing, which was something that 16 years ago I didn't really believe in whatsoever. But I started working in this field of work and realizing that actually non-touch healing actually makes a difference. I'm seeing it with clients, I'm seeing it with children, I'm seeing it with kids with autism, I'm seeing it with all sorts of illnesses, that it really does make a difference. Whether or not you believe it makes a difference because it's actually creating magic in the body and healing it, instantly evaporating the problem, or maybe that when you clear something away from the body, which we call negative and heavy energy, then the body functions a little bit better, and then you see a difference in the person. It doesn't really matter what the cause of the healing is, but the outcome to me was important. So I saw the outcome of every healing session. And so we focus on children and how do we help heal children? And of course, 16 years later of helping children by giving them this form of healing and guiding them in this way, and helping mothers and fathers sat with their children and trying to explain to them what their children are feeling at that time. I ended up pretty good at it because I'm a little bit of a kid myself. I'm like a child. If somebody says to me, how old are you? There's no way I would say I'm 51. I feel as if I'm 13, 12. I feel like an 8-year-old most of the time. I feel really young. And to prove that is if I'm ever walking on the curb and somebody at 20 years old is walking towards me, I'll step off the curb to let them go because I'll think that I'm younger than them. This is how I am. So I feel young at heart. So I feel as if I have a connection with children. I have 2 children of my own that I know of. Hello? I'm your father. So I got 2 beautiful children. Nico is 26, 27. I'm rubbish with ages. And China is 21, 22, somewhere around there. Both beautiful children who have grown up to be amazing teachers. Nico is a teacher, and so is China. They both teach fitness. One is they're both champion fighters, and they're both beautiful, and they're both amazing, talented, kind, caring, and they do so much for their community, for people around them. China's got a heart of gold, and Nico offers free work, free lessons to people who haven't got money and children. So they're both beautiful, and they didn't learn that from me. They've got it. It's an inherent inside them. You know, they really have that inside them. So they want to help and make a difference. These 2 kids, I can safely say this with my hand on my heart, I've never raised my hand to my children. I may have raised my voice a few times in anger at myself and my frustration, but never towards my children. Are they balanced? I think they are very balanced, both of them. So that to me says quite a bit. And you can go and find them on social media. You can see them. Of course, like anybody else, we go through ups and downs, but generally you see that they're very, very balanced, and they're happy, and they're really proud of who they are and what they do. So I guess that's kind of like my credibility, really. I mean, you look at your children and normally you can say, you know what, I did a good job, or I may have made some mistakes, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to share with you some of the things that can help your children and help you with your children, because predominantly it's not your children, it's you. Hello? Anybody still there? Have you all gone? Because 9 times out of 10, guys, when people came with problem children or an issue with children, it's normally the parents that I had to lay down on the healing bed and give them healing. So then they become stronger. And, ultimately, we'll start at the very beginning, but I'm going to give you the bigger picture. Ultimately, if you trust your child, believe in your child, and let them simply be and shine, then you've got it. That's it. That's the answer. So for me, did I tell my children what to do? No, I didn't. I let them experience life. And yes, I was always there if they fell, because we're bound to fall, but I was always there to help them back up and said, how did that feel? It was awful. Okay, well, now you know what it feels like to fall. Maybe you won't do it next time. And 9 times out of 10, they never did it again. So let them fall. Most of us as parents feel that a responsibility that we catch them before they fall. And actually, by doing that, we actually cause more of an issue. And really, the universe is saying, no, let them experience it, because when they fall, now they know what it feels like to be able to grow from that experience, because the path of life is experience, and you have to go through the challenges. So you've got to let your children go through the challenges. Now, half of you are going to be saying you are talking nonsense. You mean I should let my children take drugs? No, it's not what I'm saying at all. I'm talking about the little things in life as they grow up. So let's start from the beginning, okay? You have a child who always answers you back, okay? And you get sick of them always asking and getting angry and more angrier with you. And then they start to scream at you. Well, the reason why is because they're not receiving the answer that they're looking for, or receiving information that makes sense. So the worst thing you can do as a parent is say, no, because I said so. No, because, well, what does that mean? Because you said so, because I am your father and you do as you're told. Well, you're not actually answering the question. So one of the things we can do is sit down with our children and behave like they are adults, and speak to them like an adult, like they have a brain and like they understand and they actually have feelings and they can work things out for themselves. So, no, darling, don't do that, because if you do that and it falls over, it'll spill everywhere. And if it spills everywhere, that means I have to get up, I have to clean it, and it's going to take me so long and I'm not going to be happy. Okay, the little boy thinks about it and thinks, okay, that makes sense. So he doesn't spill it, or he doesn't get angry from putting his drink on top of the sofa, right? So we explain to him, right, a child wants to go, or a child does something wrong. Okay, you punish that child. How do you punish them? You smack them, you scream at them. Both of them things leave a long-lasting impact in your child's life, and they will grow with that impact to do one of two things. One, they will fear it and resent it for the rest of their life. Two, they will embrace it and become that what you did, which they'll become a beater or they'll become fearful. So what do? We give them an alternative. So, my darling, what you did there wasn't a good thing, and unfortunately, because you did that, I'm going to have to take away your Game Boy, or for the next 2 days, you're not allowed out, because this is what happens when you do something wrong. By taking something away from a child, they then can understand that what they did was wrong, and taking that away for 2 days and then handing them back and say, okay, 2 days is over, now it's yours again. They will think about that and think, you know what, maybe I won't do anything bad because of that. But if you beat a child for doing it, that doesn't work. The child doesn't think, okay, well, I won't do it again because I'll get beat. Because actually, like me and many other children, we got beat every day. Didn't make any difference to what we did after that, because actually the beating didn't really affect us because we were already scarred from it. So we would do it again and have that fear. But, you know, it is what it is. But if my father would have said, look, my beautiful son, you know this garden, and inside the garden there's soil, and when your ball falls into the soil, I don't particularly like your footsteps all in the soil, so if you do that, it makes it, I mean, obviously this is a really stupid thing. He shouldn't have even done that anyway, and he shouldn't have beaten me, because the beatings were because of his anger at work. So he wasn't angry at me and he just needed to find a way to beat me. That's a different story. Let's take another example. All the tomatoes, right, in his greenhouse mysteriously vanished. Oops. Have you ever had real fresh organic tomatoes from a greenhouse? I kid you not. It's like, I just one more. Okay, I'm going now. Just one more. So when I got home, I got a beat because there was no more tomatoes left and all the other ones were green, so we'd have to wait another couple of weeks. So I'd get a beat for that. But actually the beat didn't really affect me. The tomatoes were worth more than the beat. So the beating doesn't really work. What he should have said to me, in my humble opinion, was, you know what, darling, there's your mum, there's your two brothers and your sister. Now, they're not going to be able to eat any of them tomatoes what you ate. So, if you do that again, what's going to happen is that I'm going to have to lock the greenhouse and you're not going to be able to eat tomatoes at all for the next 3 weeks. And all the tomatoes that come out are going to go to your brothers and sisters to make up for what you ate of theirs. Now my mind's thinking, okay, that makes sense. So next time I go into there, I think about my brothers and sisters and my mum and only take 3 or 4 of them because my dad gave me the information which was balanced and understanding to me to not do it anymore. Now, these are just little examples that might help you when you come to think that you should knee-jerk or punish your child and hurt them with physical or emotional. But doing it in a very, very mindset, and which isn't bad, but in a wisdom energy, making it wise so they can work it out and understand it, and give them a hint of, you know what, that's gonna upset other people around, is a good thing, because you're showing them that what you've done affects other people and makes them sad, and they miss out on certain things. So these are just things that can help. So let's move back to the child. Normally a child from birth till whatever age they are have been affected by what we've done. So I've often said to you guys, you can love your child very much, and you can love them so much that you become so protective that what happens is there's a saying that I always use. Your child will walk past a hot fire, a nice, beautiful, burning hot fire on a log fire, and you can be sat there and your child can go up near it, and boy, is that fire hot, and the child will go up to it and feel that heat and know with instantly to back off because it's so hot, and they might just feel it with their hands getting closer. You either do one of two things: you scream and grab your child and say, no, don't go near that fire, and then you send fear into them. So from that moment on, your child equates a fire to fear. So you have now created an energy of fear whenever they see fire. Or you can just gently allow them and be aware of your child doing what they're doing, but let them feel for themselves and make their own conscious decision. So the child feels it and says, okay, that's hot, and then they go away. So there's no fear attached to it. They just know that, oh, I have to be careful. So there's been many experiments of children going very close to stairs, steps and stairs. And when they get there, they don't fall down them. They can see it's steep and then they'll move away. But you again run over and scream and grab your child. You're now bringing fear into that child because of steps. So fear of height and so on. You get my meaning, right? So second thing is, be aware of when you react to your child when you're in a situation where you feel like you should be a good parent, and by running over and being OTT and screaming, but just relaxing and let them be and be vigilant and aware and trusting them, and that's a beautiful thing to do. Okay, that's my humble opinion. That's just another idea. You might take these ideas and say, you know what, this guy's talking nonsense. Okay, but they might help, they might not. I don't know. I hope they do. I really hope they do. Or maybe you'll start to think in a slightly different way, and you might come back to me and say, hey, Mike, I didn't really agree with that, but maybe what you said, there's some truth in that, and I'm going to change a little bit and I'll try it this way. Let me know. I'm always interested in learning myself more and more. The other thing is as well, which for me is really, really important, relationship between you and your partner or with yourself. So if you've got a child and you're feeling down, depressed, angry, sad, all that, you are creating an energy that your child will pick up instantly. So imagine your energy is like Wi-Fi. Your child is an antenna. We're all antennas. We all vibrate as an antenna is, okay? So we're all antennas basically. And that's why when we call for healing, we receive it through our hand, which is an antenna, or our body. So we can always receive different forms of energy, but we can also give off energy. So when we're giving off the energy of sadness, anger, so even if you and your partner don't speak to each other, and because your child is in the room, you don't think your child doesn't feel that. You know, just think about it when you were a kid, when your mum and dad had a fight. You knew before they even said anything. You feel it. So it's so important to speak to your partner and try and make up. Or if you think it's not going to work between you, sometimes it's better off walking in your own path and being happy, and having a child see their mum and dad happy. And even if they're on their own, they're separate, I think it's more powerful for a child to see their parents happy, even if they're not together. So that's another thing. Some parents stay together because they think, well, it's for the best of the child, and then they fight all the time. And then the child grows up and comes to me and said, my childhood was awful. All my mum and dad ever did was fight, and that's all I remember. And they take that energy in, and then all they ever do for the rest of their life, many times, is do exactly the same thing, enter into relationships and fight, because all they were used to was that antenna energy that went into them and became part of who they were. So that's another thing you must be aware of. Right, yourself, if you live on your own and you've got one child and you're always sad or worried or fearful, I'll give you for instance, if you're always worried about money, your child will grow up to be always worried about money, and then they'll probably never be able to cope with money, know how to handle it, always fear it, hate it, reject it, and so on, because the attachment of your fear of anything sticks with your child. So if you don't love yourself, guess what happens to your child? It doesn't matter how many times you give them a cuddle because you say you love them. If you don't love yourself, what you're giving off to your child is that what they feel far more than you're saying to them, I love you. Because saying something is easy, but showing it within yourself and being it is the real truth and the real power. So work on yourself, and you'll find that the more happy you are with yourself, the more your child will be happy. Simple as that. It really is true. Honestly, I know it. I honestly know this to be true. The other thing is as well, when you trust your child becomes stronger. So if you look at your child and say, be careful, your child goes, okay, maybe I'm not good enough to put the kettle on or to do anything. Or don't do that, baby. Don't do that because, you might just do that. Okay, I'm not good enough. Or you say, okay, baby, you do that. Okay, I'm confident I can do that. And, she says, I can do it. So you give them confidence to do things. Even though you might think, okay, this is a bit dodgy, maybe I'll just watch over them, but you give them the confidence and help them and step back and let them do what they're doing, but just be there and watch them. Give them the confidence, and the more you do that, the more you train them to, like, one day you think about it, them say, oh yeah, they've been doing that for so long. There was a little lad on here. I can't remember his name, but at 6 years old, his mother used to go and work. And China went round to his house one day, and China came back, and I said, are you hungry? She said, no, I've been at, I'm not going to say his name. I've been to so-and-so's house, and we both had eggs. And I said, and I said, oh, did his mum cook it? Oh no, he cooked it. He cooked it. He cooks his own dinner when he gets home from school. Was he 6 or 8? He might have been 8. It was 8. We got here when China was 6. It was 2 years after, about 8. And he learned how to cook himself, and he was a dab hand at cooking. Now, you're thinking, oh my God, this is child abuse, but you go to India and kids, you can see videos of kids at 4 or 5 years old cooking rice for their little baby brothers and stuff. Normal. It's just our way of thinking. We've been abused by a system that doesn't allow us to allow our children to be everything that they are. So that's another thing we have to learn. Take away the nonsense and the lies from the system, and trust, and don't be frightened of letting your children grow and grow. You put a baby into water, the baby can swim naturally. Remember, your children are amazing, powerful, and it's up to you to bring that out and help them. So When you confirm to a child that they're naughty because they've done something wrong at school, then they will feel as if they're naughty. When you tell a child that they're not clever and they're doing things wrong and all that, you confirm to them that they're doing things wrong and they're naughty. So try and change that and say, no, baby, you're not naughty. You just did that and this is why you did it. But don't worry and try not to do that again because of this and that. So by speaking to your children with wisdom, okay, you will help your child become strong and powerful and break the mold of your parents. So you become the better version for your children to become the better version. And that's so beautiful, right? Because this is more about you than your child, okay? So that's another thing. When a child's down and depressed and upset and they don't believe that they can do things and go somewhere and things are going to go wrong, if you go into that same energy and start saying, oh baby, I'm so sorry, and yes, and if you confirm to them that, all you're doing is strengthening their conviction about what they're saying. When you say, you know what, baby, you can do this, you can conquer this, you are stronger, you are more powerful, I believe in you, and all of this will just disappear because you are stronger. When you say that to them, they go, wow, maybe I can do it, and you change their chip. Right? Another little thing. And you mean it from the bottom of your heart. You trust your child. You trust them to conquer any given thing. Give them a cuddle and say, you are amazing and I believe in you and you can beat this and you are better than this. And you keep reinforcing to them that they are beautiful. You reinforce them every day that they are beautiful. You are so beautiful. Tell them how beautiful their hands are. Tell them how beautiful their face is. Tell them how beautiful their nose is. Tell them how precious they are and tell them how special they are. Tell them how beautiful their heart is. And every time they do something that you think they deserve credit for, tell them. There is a movement at the moment, okay? And that movement is of old-fashioned movement of telling people that when you tell a child that they're good and perfect and lovely, that you're going to end up with a child who's a bit cuckoo, that they're not going to be able to cope with life and all that. I say that is utter BS, because I've seen the difference between them people saying to their children and telling them this is the world isn't all perfect, it isn't all this, it isn't all that, and you're not this, and you should do this, and you should be that. I've seen them children grow up in families like that, and let me tell you, they don't end up balanced. They end up messed up, spending a lifetime going for therapy. So don't you buy into that. You buy into love, you buy into truth, and you buy into balance. You share information with your child and tell them what's happening in the world. But there's nothing wrong with you telling your child that they're beautiful, perfect, and they can conquer everything. By doing that, you give them the confidence to do it. Oh, a reality check. Oh, you're just teaching your children that. All they're going to do is be like that. And then when they get into the big wild world, they realize everything isn't like that and everything doesn't work out like that. And then they'll end up being a bunch of pink, fluffy, non-good for no. Absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Whoever says that, see you later, get yourself off, you go and sort your own life out. But you know what? My children are going to be filled with love, and I'm going to appreciate them, and I'm going to tell them how special they are, and I'm going to tell them how I helped myself in life and share my message and help them and trust them that they need to learn their own steps in life. And they will find their own power and their strength when they are ready, not when you tell them things that are too much for them, too painful for them. I mean, all you need to do is look at Greta. Look how sad and angry she is. Seriously? You want a child who's sad and angry? No, you don't. You want a child who's balanced, who wants to make a difference in the world in a way that doesn't affect them long term. So that's my view. I don't know what Greta's like. I don't know, but I see her a lot of the time. She is really angry. And I find that a form of child abuse by telling your child, really awful things to send them worried and panicking and angry. I mean, can you imagine what's going to happen to that beautiful girl if she doesn't have help and love and, say, actually, it's all okay? We can do things in a loving way as we grow as children. We can make a difference in this world, not by getting angry, but by filling it with love and doing beautiful things around the world with love. So you can do things and make a difference in the world by doing it with love. Okay? You can leave big relationships, difficult problems, difficult issues with love. You don't have to do everything in anger. So all I'm saying is, by teaching your children who make a difference in their life and how to cope with life in love and not with anger, rage, bitterness, jealousy, and all of those things. And you find your child becomes happy and can cope more with life. Doesn't mean that they won't have issues and problems and that they won't have different challenges, but at least you're giving them a fundamental foundation to be able to not react and fight and to end up splitting up from every relationship, not being able to do anything, and their whole life is all falling apart. So we give them the confidence to believe in themselves. That's it. Okay, if they fall and make a mistake, it's okay. We all do, whether we're confident or not confident, whether we tell people, that this is reality or actually you make your own reality. We do. You make your own reality. So the other thing is I'd like to go on to is what you put into your children's mouth. It is vital that you give them fresh fruit and vegetables, nuts, pulses. If they can't have nuts, I often wonder why they can't have nuts. Could it have been the vaccine treatment? Could it have been pharmaceutical drugs that they're taking past and it's now affected them, so anything that they can affect them really bad? Or is it an issue of past as a childhood trauma? Or the other side that I don't really get involved in is that sometimes your parents can pass on a gene to the child, and that could be something. I don't know too much about that, but I do know this: you can change the reality inside a child's body and the healing process by giving them love and helping them in another direction. Keep fear out of a child's life and the body immune system will strengthen. So what you give them to eat is vitally important. Please no sugar, please no Haribos, please no crisps, please no pop, please no sugar. Give them healthy food, give them healthy options, give them dry fruits and things that are different from sugars and non-toxic foods. That's another thing. You'll find a massive difference to your child's life. And from there, I think it's really important to introduce them to meditation, introduce them to just moments where they can be at peace. Give them jigsaws to play with. Give them a pen and paper to draw, paint. Give them things to stimulate their beautiful minds and hearts and especially their imaginations. Let them play on trees. Give them Mother Nature. You want to heal your child? Just take them into Mother Nature for an hour. Let them play on trees. You'll see the change in them. Not only will they release the negative energy because the Mother Nature clears that away from them, they'll feel stronger because Mother Nature gives them power. So if you can, like I walk 45 minutes every day in Mother Nature, it makes all the difference. If I don't have that, I feel negative again. So it's good. We're meant to be in Mother Nature. We were born in Mother Nature. We should be in it because that's the whole point. Mother Nature gives us plants to eat, herbs to eat, fruits to eat, vegetables to eat. So we should be going back to Mother Nature where we came from. So by taking and adopting new health, it's really important. It's so important to give them water, that you must give them natural fresh water as much as possible. Get them drinking water than pop. Coca-Cola is a no. You kill them with Coca-Cola. So give them healthy options. Stay away from anything like replacement sugars. That is so dangerous, honestly. So the other thing that I suggest is healing. Give them healing. And healing can be a hug, or healing can be laying them down before they go to sleep, or even when they're asleep, and take one hand and place it above their head, and the other hand hold out like the antenna and just place it above their head and just give them healing for half an hour. And then if you feel their heart needs strengthening, go to their heart. If you feel that they've had a stressful day, they're being bullied at school, go to their stomach and put your hand on their stomach for half an hour. So if you are able to give your child a 1 hour healing session while they're asleep, boy, will it make a massive difference in their life. So 3 key places: head, heart, stomach. Honestly, it works amazing. You don't need to think too much. As long as you're healthy, fit and strong. If you're worried about them, don't give them healing because your worry will give them worry. You have to separate yourself from that. So always do it when you're 100% feeling strong and you know that what you're going to give them is beautiful. That's when you heal. The other thing is really amazing thing to do as well is when you're giving them a glass of water, if your child is feeling a little bit sad or upset, place a piece of crystal next to it. I'm going to do my next video. I'm going to talk about crystals and how they can help with water, okay, and what we can do. But yeah, get a nice crystal, place it next to the water, and then let your child drink the water, okay? Energized water from crystals really does work. It makes a massive difference, trust me. Take a glass of water, hold it in your hand if you're feeling strong, and place them, your thoughts as your child happy playing in the playground, okay, with a smile playing. Then let them drink the water at any time. That's another amazing tip, and it works. I know you're probably all thinking I'm nuts, but it works. Other than that, I think that's it. I think I've talked enough. I believe that your child needs to feel safe. If the house is safe and if they have their own bedroom, let them express in their own bedroom what they want. Ask them how they want their bedroom. A really good idea is to ask them what colour they would like the bedroom painting. Give them the option of what they want to experience their own strength and what they like and what feels good to them. If you always doing things for them, they never have a true purpose and they never believe in themselves. So ask them more what they would like and what they'd like to do in their bedroom, and would you like to change the bedroom, and get them involved all the time, so then they feel part of the home and part of being a contribution to the house as well. So that's another thing, yeah. When you're eating your food with them, make sure you have a good conversation and talk to them. And please, please take the phone out of their hands. Get the phone away. Get their tablets away. Get their computer games away. You need to start to communicate with your child, because every second your child spends on that phone is at least 2 or 3 days separation from their parents. So you're losing your children the more they're going on social media, the more they're going on their phones, and they're becoming more ill every day, and they're being brainwashed every day. So it's harder for you to connect to your child. So it's so important that you make some kind of rule that all of you have to agree as well. If you're on the phone and talking and watching, and that you're telling them that they can't do it, but you are, that's a no-no. So you have to also abide by that and agree with that too. Say, we're all going to now take these phones tonight, and from 7 o'clock at night, we're all going to take these phones and put them into a special box, and we're not going to touch them till the next day, okay? And maybe every one other weekend, we're going to put these into the box, or every weekend, we're going to put these into the box, and we're going to go out and we're going to spend the day together in Mother Nature. Okay, these are a few tips. I could go on all day to help you, but I hope this message serves you well. Be beautiful, be kind, be caring. Most of all, be caring to yourself, because if you look after yourself, you will look after your child, because they will feel it and grow too. Having a most amazing day. Thank you so much, guys, for booking Toronto, which is on the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th of April. That's the Easter long weekend. You'll spend 4 full days with me learning how to heal yourself, and how to be the most amazing healer in the world, so you can take that away with you and use it for your children, for your mum, for your grandma, for your friends, for your business, whatever you want to do with that. So thank you so much. And also, I'll see you for 4 days in Spain, June the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th on the Costa del Sol. It's booking up really fast, so I can't wait to see you all. I hope this video serves you well. If you want to buy a nice crystal for your child, then simply go to markbajerski.com. If you want one of my crystals, which I've worked on specially for children, scroll down and see which are the best crystals for children. Okay, you'll be surprised how amazing they work, and put next to their bed, how they heal them and strengthen them and make them feel amazing. Absolutely, it works. Have a great day, guys, from my heart to yours. See you at Mark Bajerski Crystals channel in a few minutes, and I'll then start talking about how to work with crystals for children, how to energize water, and which crystals are best for what you want out of a circumstance to heal you from whatever it is that you need healing from. There's a crystal for everything, and I'm going to show you now. Okay, see you over there. Take care.